We think that winning an argument means we are strong. That if I stood my ground, raised my voice a little louder, proved my point a little harder, I'm protecting my self respect. But later, we don't remember what we said. We remember how lonely it felt. Arguments are about pride, about fear, about protecting the version of ourselves we don't want questioned. So people don't listen, they defend. They don't communicate, they perform. And philosophers like Marcus Aurelius have been trying to tell us this for centuries now. Peace is stronger than pride. Because arguments are a search for who's right, but conversations are a search for what is true.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So this video is basically about something that I used to do a lot when I was young, but as I grew up, I realized how pointless it was, and now I have reached a point where I don't do it at all. So I hope you got today's topic from the intro, and today's video is basically about arguments. I really believe that most of the arguments are never about who is right or who is wrong. The arguments are about people forcing their point of view on another people, or people just trying to save their self image. That it doesn't matter if what I'm saying is right or wrong, the point is that I am right. You know what I mean? So I will take up an example from Bridgerton, and even if you guys haven't watched it, it's fine. I'll explain it to you. So Bridgerton is basically a series, and the first season of the series mainly revolves around two people, Daphne and a duke. So they are intensely in love, but the guy, the emperor, he is really sure that he does not want to get married, he doesn't want a wife, and he does not want a kid. And on the other hand, the girl, Daphne, she wants a kid, she wants to get married because of the societal expectations. In the entire season, there are a lot of arguments, a lot of fights.
What did you do? I told you I cannot give you children.
Cannot and will not are two entirely different things. You chose this for yourself. You chose to learn
I
to
did not lie. I thought you were prepared. I thought you understood how a child came to be.
You took my future from me. The one thing I wanted more than anything. You knew. You knew that becoming a mother one day, to have a family of my own one day, you knew that was all I ever wanted.
I was prepared to die on that dueling field. Rather than marry you and take your dream away, I would have died. For you. You were the one who insisted on this union. You told me I was enough.
Before I knew you, I made it know much. As you have made abundantly clear, but I do know one thing. I know that is not love.
But the main point is that none of them is talking about the present. They are coming from the past. Their arguments are not about the present. Their arguments are coming from the places of different past, of different traumas, of different circumstances. So when two people argue, the argument is not only between the words that they are exchanging, between the point of views, between the points on which they are argumenting. When two people argue, it is a lot about their past traumas, their dark pasts, and their different circumstances, different situations, different upbringings. And you know what? I recently heard a quote which said that
Consider how hard it is to change yourself, and you'll understand how foolish it is to think you can change someone else.
when we smoke, it is so difficult to leave that habit, right? Or if we go to bed late, it is so difficult to go to bed early. And then think that how can you change another person when it is so difficult to just change yourself? Why do you think that you can change someone else's point of view by arguing? Also, I believe that silence is the best answer when the conversation is about to turn into an argument. I am a person who actually uses this silence method a lot, and a lot of you might believe that if I don't speak anything, I'll lose. But that is never the case. The point is that you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. You don't have to waste your energy on anyone. A lot of times people come to me and say that you look really rude, you look really arrogant. I'm like, fine. I can politely tell them that no, that is not the case, that's just how my face is. But if they want to turn it into an argument, I'll just shut up. My family members come to me a lot of times and they are like, you are always so lost. You have no idea what's going on around you. And they honestly have no idea where that is coming from. What they're saying is true, yes, but they have no idea where that response is coming from. And I don't think I need to explain myself to my family and even to the people who are coming to me and telling me that I look arrogant. So I choose silence. And you will see most of the times, if you're sitting in a group and a conversation is about to turn into an argument and you shut up, most of the people over there will believe that you won because you saved your energy. You did not waste your energy on an argument. Again, you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. So I read this book a long time ago, which is called How to Win Friends and Influence People. So when I came over the topic of this video, I suddenly remembered the first chapter of that novel and I went back to it. You know, the first chapter of that novel says that never argue, don't ever argue. And I'll tell you what it says. The narrator used to love arguing, love debating with people. And he used to love arguing so much that he even thought of writing a book on it. But then one day, he went to a get together or to a party, I don't know, where a man said some quote. And he said that that quote is from the Bible. But the narrator knew that that quote was not from the Bible. It was by Shakespeare. So he started arguing with that person that no, you are wrong. This quote is not from the Bible. It is from Shakespeare. And that man was obviously trying to protect his self-image, trying to protect his ego, and he kept on saying, no, I'm sure it's from the Bible and everything. So now they both had a common friend who was an expert in Shakespeare. So they went to him and they asked him. And that guy said that, yes, this man is right. This quote is from the Bible. Now, after that, when the narrator and his friend, who was an expert in Shakespeare, they were alone, the narrator asked him that, you know that this quote is by Shakespeare, so why did you lie? And that's when his friend told me that, yeah, I know it's from Shakespeare. So he was like, why did you lie? And his friend said, yeah, I know it's by Shakespeare. So he said that, why did you lie? And he said that, what are you getting out of proving that person wrong? You are embarrassing him. You are ruining his self-image. For what? For a sense of hollow victory. And that's when the narrator realized that not only did he embarrass that person and ruin his self-image in front of so many people and get into an argument with him, he also put his friend into a very awkward position. You know, even after you win the arguments, you might get a sense of victory, but it's a hollow victory. Because I remember a lot of times when I used to love arguing, I would argue with people, and at some point, they were so done with me, they would be like, yeah, you are right. They would just give up. And after that, I could feel that relationship getting worse because people were so done with me. And that is always the case. Now that I have reached the point that I avoid arguments at all costs, I also avoid people who argue a lot. So there is a term stoicism. If you are even a little bit into philosophy, you would know about it. So stoicism is basically a philosophy and it helps us to navigate this chaotic world. It's like we have Buddha's teaching, you know, the way to live. Similarly, we have stoicism, and it can also be like we have art of living. Similarly, we have stoicism. So, stoicism was used very long ago in ancient Greece, and it was a way of life. It's like we have written rules, which are the laws that everyone has to follow, and then we have some unwritten rules that we as a society follow. Like we have this unwritten rule that you should respect your elders. Although I don't agree that all the elders deserve respect, but whatever. That's what the unwritten rule says. So Stoicism was basically a way of life which was followed by everyone, from a servant to the emperor in ancient Greece. Now, there was an emperor called Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius is really famous because he was the last good king who ruled the Roman Empire. So, Marcus Aurelius basically said that how much more harmful are the consequences of anger than the circumstances that arouse them. And this is a really, really famous line. So, Marcus Aurelius basically said that all the people are made to work together. Instruct the people politely if you can. Talk to them nicely, tell them what you want, explain them your viewpoint. But if they don't listen, then shut up. So he basically said that instruct them if you can, endure them if you can't. So tell them whatever you want nicely if you can, and if they are not ready to listen, then just shut up. But don't argue. He really hated heated arguments. He said that look at the person that is converting a conversation into an argument. If that person who is converting the conversation into an argument is dishonest or he's ignorant, then why are you even surprised that he's saying something stupid and you are arguing with him? Why are you wasting your time on him? It's literally like banging your head on the wall. And he said that the anger that you feel towards that person, only you are feeling that. The rise in the blood pressure, your chest tightening, that, oh, only you are feeling that. So why are you self-harming yourself over a stupid person? By staying silent, you are protecting yourself from the self-harm. You are not losing. There is no loser or winner in an argument. There are just two dumb people. That's it. If two people are arguing, they are on the same level. There is no winner and there is no loser. Especially when you know that the other person is not at all going to listen. Okay, so now let me tell you one thing. There is a thing which is called the Amygdala Hijack.
And then there's the emotional center between the ears, roughly. And particularly, I'd like to call attention to the amygdala. The amygdala is one of the parts of the brain that has more connections to every other part than any other area of the brain. The amygdala is the alarm center. It's the brain's radar for threat. Right now, the amygdala of everyone in this room is asking a question. It's asked through human history. And the question is, am I safe? If the answer is yes, then fine. If the answer is no, if the amygdala perceives a threat, then it has a privileged position in the brain. It can hijack the rest of the brain and drive it in a way that it thinks is essential to survival.
Amygdala hijack is when your body goes into fight or flight reaction. Fight or flight reaction. Now, what's that? So, fight or flight reaction is basically when your body senses danger. So, for example, when a dog is running towards you or you get a very stressful email, that is when your body senses danger. And it can be physically felt, like you can feel your chest tightening, your breathing speed increases, your heart rate increases, your digestion slows down. So that's when you can realize that your body has gone into a fight or flight action. Now there are three things that can be done. Either you fight, okay, either you reply to that email or you fight that dog. Then there is flight. It's like totally avoiding it, like running away from it. Okay, running away from the dog or just deleting the email. Okay, third thing that your body can do is act like it did not happen. It can go into paralysis. You are just standing there, the dog is attacking you. You are acting like that email did not even come. Okay, so there are three things that your body can do. Now, when you are arguing, your body goes into the fight or flight reaction. And when your body is in a fight or flight reaction, your IQ is basically the level of your intelligence. So when you are arguing, your body goes into the amygdala hijack and your IQ decreases. You get the point? So when you are arguing with someone, you literally become dumber. That's why you hear people say all the time that when I was in the argument, I couldn't think of a single reply. But now that I have walked away and it's been 2 hours since the argument, I can think of like 15 things to say to the person. Because after 2 hours, your body has calmed down. You are no longer in the fight or flight reaction. And you have finally reached your normal IQ. Therefore, you can think of 10 things that you could have said then. But at that time, your IQ decreased. You literally became dumber. Therefore, you could not think of anything. Now, another thing is called the backfire effect.
I think is most concerning is the effect of correcting that myth that vaccines give you autism. When we told people that vaccines don't cause autism and that the overwhelming scientific evidence rejects that claim, we actually found that the least pro-vaccine parents in the United States in our sample became less likely to vaccinate rather than more, which we think is a really troubling finding.
Can you explain why that would be?
Well, sure, we can't look into their minds to be sure, of course, but what we think is going on is that people are reacting in a defensive manner. We have lots of evidence that when you challenge people directly, they're very skeptical of information that they don't want to hear or that contradicts beliefs or attitudes they hold. These are parents who had, many of whom had mixed feelings about vaccines, some somewhat negative. And so when we told them that vaccines don't cause autism, what we think they did is bring to mind other concerns or questions they have about vaccines. In the process of thinking about those, they came to feel more negatively towards vaccinating than they would have if they hadn't received that information in the first place.
It is a psychological phenomenon which says that if you argue with a person who is very sure of himself and you argue with the kind of person who does not want to listen to you, okay? We all know the kind of people who just don't want to prove themselves right and they don't want to hear you at all. So if you're arguing with that kind of person, you are actually making them go deeper into their belief. So it is literally backfiring. That person is obviously not listening to you. They are not going to agree with your point of view, even if they are wrong. But what they are saying, they will start believing in it even more, even if they are wrong. So if a person is saying that women should not get education, and you are telling him that they should, and that conversation turns into an argument, so that person is anyways not listening to you about women getting education, but you are actually making him believe more in the fact that women should not get education. So it is literally a backfire effect. This is the psychological phenomenon. I used to be a person who used to love arguing and I used to love proving myself right, but I remember after the argument was over, I keep thinking and thinking about the conversation, about the argument, and I would keep overthinking that maybe I shouldn't have said this, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or was I too rude, was I too loud, even after I had won the argument. All these things would keep on going into my mind, and they were actually messing up with my peace. And I have a friend who shares very limited about his life. He never overshares and he shares very limited stuff. So when I was talking to him, and he told me that, Aditi, you know what, I used to be the kind of person who would overshare, and I would overshare and I would come back home and I would keep thinking and thinking about it, that, oh my god, why did I tell this person so much? I shouldn't have. What if they tell others? What if they do this? See, so slowly, he stopped telling anyone anything. He went to zero. And obviously, as a human, you cannot live like that. You cannot be a person who doesn't tell anyone about anything. So, first, he became that person who doesn't tell anyone anything, and slowly and gradually, he started telling people little stuff about him that he knew that he would not overthink. So, as I told you, today he is the kind of person who never overshares and shares very limited stuff about his life. And after talking to him, I also felt that, bro, if arguing with people is messing up so much with my peace, it is a constant loop in my head, it is not worth it. Because a lot of times during the argument, I would say things that I shouldn't have, or I would share something about myself that I shouldn't have. So through this video, I just want you all to replace your arguments with conversation. I love conversations. You tell me about yourself, I tell you about myself. You tell me your point of view, I tell you my point of view. Let's discuss it. But I hate arguments. I respect your opinion, you respect mine. I will not force my opinion on you. You don't force your opinion on me. That's what conversations are. And I love conversations. So through this video, I just want you all to please replace your arguments with conversation. Or if needed, replace your arguments with silence. Because arguments are about who is right. Arguments are never about the topic. It's never about the truth. It's never about the opinion. Arguments are about who is right. And conversations are about what is true. So yeah, this is it for the video. I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.